Hello, everybody. This is Joni from the Paperback Exchange Bookstore, 6412 Ridge Road. And today we have the pleasure of interviewing local author, actor, activist, and all around pretty good dad, from what it sounds like of your book, Craig BALCOM. Welcome, Craig.
Thank you, Joni. I'm glad to be here.
Here is a copy of his book. We have it here in the shop. It is called Daddyman, a personal guide to being a good dad. Something other than what to expect when you're expecting, right?
Yeah, I wrote that because women have a lot of sources for when they're expecting and when they're being a first time parent and stuff. Men just don't have that many options. I mean, when I first became a dad in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, I looked at the bookstore, I looked at the library, couldn't find anything that was really addressed being a dad or being a father. The only ones I could find, if anything, were like ones that were written by celebrities, and they usually are doing it tongue in cheek, you know.
And with a lot of money source too.
With the mostly they do it for humor, like a lot of you know jokes about things that happened or a lot of potty humor and stuff like that. It's like that's not what a new dad really needs to know.
This is actually a very straightforward book set up in different sections as far as dad versus father, caring, talking about money and creating special memories, a chapter on discipline and how to drive your kids, letting go. Let me read the back of it really quick for everybody. Faster than a speeding tricycle, more powerful than dirty diapers, able to leap tall Legos in a single bound. Look up in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Daddyman. Yes, Daddyman, strange visitor from another dimension with powers and abilities far beyond those of ordinary men. Daddyman, who can change a pair of dirty diapers, bend Play-Doh with his bare hands, and who, disguised as a mild-mannered father, is in a great metropolitan city, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and clean underwear. Well, it sounds like you're not too far off of being some humorous as well, but it's got some real practical information in it for dads, whether they're new or whether you've just like fallen on your face and need some support.
Yeah, I wrote it, like I said, for the reasons I already said, but also, when I wrote it, yeah, the title comes out of the fact that I'm a comic book geek. So, it's not Superman. So he's a dad, he's daddy. So it's Daddyman.
So let me,
therefore I took the old intro from the Superman radio series slash 50s TV series, and I basically rewrote it, was just like you read it there. I changed some of the words around, and it's basically the same spiel, except now it's for dads.
There's Daddyman in his full costume.
Yeah, that's where I tried.
Presentation. Were you at a library or?
No, I was trying to make myself up as my own character when I went to the Tampa Bay Comic-Con.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, that's where we got our start too. We started
at the convention center. Yeah, down at the convention center.
Well, wonderful. Now folks can get your book here at the bookshop at Paperback Exchange. You can also pick it up on our .com, which is pbx-books.com. You can and we can ship it anywhere here in the U.S. You can also find it on Amazon. Where else?
There's one copy on the shelf at the Pasco County Library in I'm trying to think which library. It's the one right off there off Little Road.
The
new was it the new
Regency? Is that the Regency one?
Yeah, the Regency Library.
And there's
Yeah.
a copy there too. Great. So they can find
Yeah,
it at the libraries and borrow it too.
Yeah, I petitioned for them to buy, put a copy of my book on their shelf, and they eventually did. It took them months to do it, but they eventually got around to doing it.
So
I
you've
don't know
got
if any,
you
I
were
don't,
dressed up at Comic-Con as your character, trying to portray that. So you've got kind of a history of acting. I saw some shots of you in stage plays and whatnot. Did you know that I'm originally from Newark, Ohio?
Newark, okay.
So I've probably
Well,
seen you in Tecumseh many, many times.
yeah. Well, it depends upon when you first saw Tecumseh, because my first season there was 1976.
Hmm.
And then I should have gone back in 77, but after my senior in high school, I ended up doing other things. So I ended up after I kind of like ended a relationship, I went back to Tecumseh. It was like my way of like cutting ties.
Well, if
Yeah.
for folks
So
that
I went
don't
back.
know what that
So I
is,
went back in 81,
mhm,
82, and then the director wouldn't let me go back in 83, but then I'm not really crazy about him. And I got back in 84.
well,
So I did 4 seasons in total at Tecumseh.
I have been there from the early 70s until the late 90s. We used to go every other year, pretty much.
Well,
We would go
speaking
for
of,
classes, and what people don't may not understand is there's an outdoor theater down in Chillicothe, Ohio, and they put on a rendition of the story of Hopewell Indians Tecumseh.
yeah, the Shawnee Indian chief Tecumseh. It's basically kind of his life
Oh,
story
I'm sorry, Shawnee. That's right.
on the stage. It's all live. I mean, even the gunfire is live. The only thing we don't do is we don't put a lead ball in the barrel.
Very good. Very good. My
We
dad
got
was a
enough to
gunsmith as well. He was into muzzle loading. So that was always
uh,
why we
if
went,
you
so we could go look at
if
the
you go
guns.
if you go through the history of it, we had enough trouble with things that when there weren't a lead ball in the barrel. Like they originally used like toilet paper for the wadding,
Mhm.
but they found out, as it came out of the barrel, on occasion it was still burning as it came out of the barrel. And then you got guys that are laying on the ground who are wearing these big black wigs,
Patting
pretending to
themselves
be
out.
dead Indians.
So
Suddenly their hair is on,
you always had some kind of a water element on stage with you, right?
suddenly their hair is on fire. And it's like
Is that part of the show?
one of the big jokes amongst us veterans, and I would like to say proudly that I am a veteran of the Tecumseh Alumni Association, which is one of our former members. She basically made a group for anybody who's been part of the cast or crew or office support, you know, to get together and, yep, that was,
I
yep,
remember that set well. We had a
yeah,
lot of good
that I don't
memories.
remember that. Yeah, that's the theater. Uh,
Wonder how they fared during the shutdown. I can imagine they did okay since it was an outdoor theater. They could space everybody around.
yes. And
So what have you got on the horizon? What are you working on now? You've got Daddyman,
uh,
a guide to helping folks learn how to be the best dad they can. Are you doing any
I've
other
got I've
nonfiction?
got a I've got a work of fiction going to publication now. I'm waiting to hear back from them about it getting through their editors and then going to publication.
So
But we'll see.
your first work of
My
fiction.
yeah, my first work of fiction.
What's it about?
A friend of mine gave me some feedback, and he was a little bit critical, but you got to write to learn to get better. I didn't expect to be perfect on the first try, but I like what I've written so far, so we'll see how it goes.
You'll build off of that.
Yeah, I'll
The
build
trick
off
is
of
to
that.
write a good enough story that you don't mind writing it and rewriting it about 10 times, right?
That is absolutely true.
This is your new
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
Gene
that's it.
Isle,
Yeah, that's it.
and what's it about?
Whole scenario. It's a kind of a sci-fi adventure. And the lady in the middle, she's the lead, she's the heroine of the story. And she's sent on a trip where some agents are trying to track down some thieves and catch them, but they get ambushed, and then she ends up being alone on the island. So she got to struggle her way through this tropical island and try and survive and then escape the island, basically on her own
Something
into
with genes and CRISPR and genetics. Gene Island, huh?
yeah.
Oh, awesome. Love all that stuff.
The antagonist is a doctor who is well into genetic engineering, and his idea is like to use genetic engineering to basically control and shape human evolution. So what he's doing is he's taking a bit of this creature, a bit of that creature, and mixing it in with the human DNA. So that furry character you see in the back of the cover is one of his experiments that just didn't quite turn out the way he wanted it
It
to.
looks mysteriously like a Sasquatch to me, and that just piques my
Yeah,
interest.
yeah. He's basically like a big, huge. Well, I guess if you want to put it in terms of myth or mythology and stuff, he's a little bit closer, I suppose, to like a cross between a human and a bear. A little bit more bear. His only human features are still a little bit left in the face, so you can kind of tell he's not completely a bear. And so he ends up becoming the lead or heroine's protector at times, and they develop a friendship. And we will later track down the antagonist. We bump into him, and he ends up trying to use some of the agents who are out to get him as his new test subjects. And his problem is, he's had good test subjects, but they've all gone basically straight to like switching from human to being animal. What he wants to do is like, I don't want to change somebody from being human to being the animal whose DNA I chose. I want to take a small feature of that animal and add it to humans. Like, I want to add like the eyes of an eagle to my own, to my, to humans, or maybe the strength of a bear, but not make them a bear. That kind of thing.
Interesting.
So
Piques my interest. I'm all interested in all of that CRISPR DNA switching stuff. It's a scary idea, but I think we can probably use it to our benefit if people like Dr. Evil don't get a hold of it, right?
Yeah, if we don't go Gattaca on it, yeah.
Right. I remember watching that movie and not knowing what was going on at all. And then when I realized it was about that, I was like, I'm gonna have to rewatch this now. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching it again. But then some of the movies that people like a lot or praise highly, I watch them and I go like, "Are you kidding me? That's just not that good." It's like everybody.
We have quite the discussion on our books to movies section of the comparative study. We try to let people know that you really shouldn't compare the two because completely different mediums, but anybody that tries to make the movie true to the book, you have to give them a pat on the back, because
Well,
how can you do that? Sometimes that's just impossible to transfer that from a page.
Yeah,
to a
when
screen.
they made the Harry Potter movies, when they made the first one, I got really angry with the screenwriter because he took some of the best lines from the book and didn't put them in the movie.
Mhm.
And it's like, are you kidding me? You got some rich text here and
Yeah.
you're not even using it.
We're gonna end up like Dune, though. It'd be 6 hours long, right? And then they cut it up into nothing.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that he would add things to it. Is like he used some really good dialogue from the book then and didn't use it, because like when they fall through the trap and get caught by that vine when they're trying to stop him
Mhm.
from getting the uh philosopher's stone,
Mhm.
uh you know they go completely different. They just say the way to get through the vine is just relax, and that's not the way it is in the book at all. In the book, it's like Hermione says it's susceptible to heat and light. And he says, well, then light a fire. I think it was Ron says, well, light a fire. And she goes, well, I don't have any wood. And then Ron goes, are you a witch or not? And then she casts a spell and, basically, creates magic fire, and it lets loose everybody and they get through.
Yep.
But it's like,
time to be the witch now that you've
yeah,
pretended to be all your life, right?
that was my argument. That was a perfect line, a great line there for Ron. And he doesn't have that many great lines. It's like, are you a witch or not? And she goes, oh yeah.
Forgot.
Yeah, this bright book smart girl, and suddenly it's like, are you a witch or not?
So Daddyman available here. You can get it here at our .com, which is pbxbooks.com. Just put in the word daddy. Well, if you spell it right, or even if you don't spell it right, I guess. There you go. Pull it right up. There it is. You can do a ship it, local delivery, usually within a day. We'll drop it off, and or an in-store pickup. You've also got hardbacks that are on sale here on Amazon for only $5.11. So you're trying to push the hardbacks out, and we've got the paperbacks here. So we can find it there. And then you can also get a hold of Craig if you've got any questions about his history, his acting, his books that he's written, and the book that he has coming up, which is Gene Island. You can contact him here through LinkedIn. Mostly Craig uses his Facebook account, though. If you want to get a hold of Craig, you can see his long list of accomplishments here, living in good old Port Richey, Ohio, and sharing some good book reviews as well. So thank you so much for joining us here, Craig.
You were going down my Facebook page. If you look lower, I just finished reading an excellent book of a lady I admire. It's a biography. It's a biography of a woman named Valerie Taylor.
Right there it is.
Yeah, An Adventurous Life. And there's a documentary of her on Disney called Playing with Sharks. Oh. This woman is amazing.
She's the one that
wish
she doesn't use the special caged suit, right? She doesn't use the metal suit though.
No, she almost treats sharks like dogs. I mean, they're her best friends. I mean, in the documentary that they have on Disney Plus, the Playing with Sharks, she actually goes to the point of she actually feeds a great white by hand. She takes a fish and holds it out on the back of the boat and feeds it by hand.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's also amazing.
But I don't want to be anywhere near them.
It's also amazing what she's lived through. When she was like 12 years old or something, she survived polio.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. So you've got some good book reviews on your page as well. Anytime you want to hop on the bookstore book review page and put up a review of either your book or any books that you've read, please feel free to do that. That goes for Craig and anyone else watching as well. We'll put a link up to that page. We have a strict rule, no spoilers, though, and no, we like to start out with something positive. We don't like to hear what you hated about a book. We like to hear what you liked about a book. So that's just our only basic rule. So thank you again for joining us, Craig.
Oh, thank you. And as far as my acting is concerned, I've been acting since probably about 1976, maybe even 75. I think that's the summer that I joined a summer show that was directed by a guy I admire, and I think he's one of the best directors ever, a man named Jim Toth. Because I wasn't born there, but I grew up in Findlay, Ohio, and they have an excellent community theater.
Wonderful.
Some of the best people in the world there. But then I did a lot of stuff with them through the 70s and 80s. Last thing I did for them was direct a show in 1992 called Greater Tuna.
Greater Tuna. I've seen it. I loved it.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
It's funny. It's funny as hell, especially if you do it the way it's meant to be, is just two actors each doing about half a dozen characters.
Some friends of mine have a show that is based off of that, but it's about an assisted living facility. It's called Assisted Living the Musical, and there's two actors and they each do about 30 characters. So yeah, that's a wonderful way to see a show, to just see all the different ways that people can be elastic with their acting techniques, right?
Oh, going back to your comments on Tecumseh,
Mhm.
I will be returning there this summer, mostly seeing a lot of old friends and stuff, because this summer they're going to celebrate basically the 50th anniversary of Tecumseh. I mean, it was started 50 years ago. I think it started in 1972. I joined it in 76.
Let me share that with folks.
So they're going to have a big group of all of the Tecumseh Alumni Association, basically all us old veterans
Where did I?
getting together, saying hello.
So 50 years that's been going on. Wow. I didn't realize it was going on that long.
Yeah, it went through some hard times, because there was a few times they had trouble just even making payroll.
So that's on Marietta Road in Chillicothe, Ohio. They do weekends. They do like a matinee on Sundays and Saturdays, and then they do one Saturday night show, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's in Chillicothe, Ohio. If you don't know how to get to the theater, just ask around. Everybody knows about it in Chillicothe.
Yeah, I've got the Google
It,
page up. It's just
it
Tecumseh !
it's
Outdoor Theater. Take you right to it.
yeah, it's up on Sugarloaf Mountain.
Oops.
So the Sugarloaf Mountain Amphitheater.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. And thanks for being with us here. Anytime you want to stop in and sign some of these books, you're more than welcome to. If they haven't already been signed, please do so. People like to have
I
signed
would
copies.
I would be glad to sign them, with one proviso.
Uh-huh.
Uh, if you look at the thing on the back page where it says about the author,
Uh-huh.
you'll see that in 2017 I survived a brain aneurysm, and while I was in the ICU, I had a series of mini strokes. So my left arm and hand are a little bit on the weak side, which is what I used to, before that, I used to be left-handed. So I've got to try and write with my right, which, if I do my signature now, it looks like a prescription from your pharmacist.
That's okay. We're just glad that you're still around, and we're glad that traumatic experience didn't stop you from doing what you like to do as far as writing and acting and everything else.
Yeah, I've got about maybe 3 or 4 things I've started. I don't know if any of them will come out and result into a book, but we'll see.
Well,
Time will tell.
just keep trying, Craig. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll keep going up to bat and going up to base and up to home plate and swinging for the fences with my MS Word and try and punch.
Every once in a while you connect, and you know what, it surprises you just as much as it does everybody else when you have to take
Yeah,
that trip around the bases, right? Well, thank you so much for
yeah.
joining us. Please check out Craig's book on our .com. There's a small explanation there, or you can come and check it out in the store. We're also going to be having a great big sale. I'm going to do some shameless plugging here. That's coming up on Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, which is the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving. We are going to have a humongous sale here, and we will share that with you to let everybody see the hours. We will be closed on Thanksgiving. We will have special hours Friday and Saturday, 9 to 6, and then we'll be closed again Sunday for recovery. You'll be able to fill a giant swag bag. Where's my swag bag? You'll be able to fill a giant swag bag. Huge, full of books for $25. And I also have all of my old paperbacks that are more than 3 years old. No matter what size they are, they're going for $1. We need to purge some of these books out, and I want everybody to have a chance to get the books they want. We will also be selling our local authors books at a 20% discount and our brand new books at a 10%. You will also be able to pick up rare books, believe it or not, for buy one, get one free, because we really want you guys to have a chance to get some of those rare books that have just been sitting around and maybe are up and down on the prices a little bit, but they're down now. We want you guys to take advantage of that. So we will see you Friday, Saturday, 9 to 6, and come check out Craig's book as well sometime during the week. We'll be here.
Come buy books, help Joni move the inventory.
Yes, please. We have been so blessed with the shutdown. Believe it or not, there's been a couple of times we showed up at the shop because the libraries were shut down, which was terrible for the community. But a couple of times we showed up and there was 40 or 50 boxes sitting out front where people were just purging and saw somebody that had set a box, and then that maybe piqued somebody's memory and said, oh yeah, we got several boxes. And that would just build Sunday nights, especially. We would come in Monday and there would be lots of boxes. So we thank the community for that. And because we have such a large amount of books, we want you guys to take advantage of that too. So come and fill yourself a great big bag full for 25 and support us. And whatever we don't use, we will be donating out to Friends of the Library, Pasco Hernando College, and anybody that has a little library near their home and they need a few books to put in it. Like if you notice there's no kids books, or if you notice there's no thrillers or no romance, come down and get some books to fill it up. We'll make you a great deal, if not free. So thank you. Thank you, Craig. And we will see you soon. Sleep less, read more, and wash your hands, people. That's all you got to do.
I will try to sleep less, but then I usually don't anyway. So I'll try and write more.
There you go.
Refocus myself. I've been kind of like, my mind's been diverted onto other things. So I'll try and get back and plug away.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Craig. You take care now.
Okay. Thank